We're on day 10 of our eggs being in the incubator, and today I'm going to read Super Cluck. Chuck Cluck looks like other chicks. He goes peep peep like other chicks, but he is not like other chicks. He comes from another planet, the planet Nestron. He came to Earth on a rocket ship when he was just an egg. This is not the planet for us, the chicken leader said. All the chickens got back onto the rocket ship, all except one egg. Bump, bump, bump. There it is. Soon a nice Earth chicken came along. This poor egg must be lost, she said. She petted the eggshell. There, there, dear, she said. I will take you to my coop. I will sit on you until you hatch. And that is just what she did. What a fine chick you have, Mrs. Cluck, said another chicken. Yes, said Mrs. Cluck. She gave her new chick a soft peck. I will call you Chuck. Soon Mrs. Cluck saw that Chuck Cluck was not like other chicks. Chuck Cluck was always hungry. Ma, can I have another worm? Chuck asked. Dear, you've already eaten 537 worms this morning, Mrs. Cluck told him. But I'm a growing chick, said Chuck. Yes, dear, that is true, said Mrs. Cluck. You keep growing and growing and growing. Chuck Cluck was very strong. One day a corn cob rolled under the chicken coop. Cluck picked up the chicken coop to get it. Help, help, an earthquake, the chickens shouted. Chuck put the coop down and ran inside. There is no earthquake, he told them. It was only me. I did not mean to scare you. You must learn to be more careful, said Mrs. Cluck. Chuck Cluck tried, but it was not easy. Once he pecked a hole so deep 5 chicks fell into it. Another time he sneezed so hard he blew the feathers off the chickens. I cannot do anything right, Chuck said sadly, but he was wrong. One day all the chicks were playing in the yard. 3 chicks jumped on Chuck. We got you, they shouted. Oh, stop, stop, Chuck cried, and he flapped his wings hard. Look, shouted the chicks. Chuck Cluck is flying. What? Cried Chuck. Then he looked down. The ground was far away. Wow, he shouted, I am flying. Chuck Cluck flapped his wings harder. Up he went. Mom, I can fly, Chuck Cluck shouted. Mrs. Cluck was so proud. Be careful, dear, she called up to him. Chuck Cluck is as fast as a rocket, shouted one chick. Chuck came down for a landing. Here he comes, cried another. It's Super Cluck. Chuck liked that name. Watch what Super Cluck will do now, he said. Look at this flip, Chuck shouted. Now I will do a tailspin, and for my last trick, I will do a loop-the-loop. Crash! Chuck Cluck landed in the vegetable patch. All the other chicks laughed. You are a big show-off, said one chick. You are not Super Cluck. You are a dumb cluck, said another chick. I am not, yelled Chuck. I am Super Cluck. Just wait. I will show you. The next morning there was trouble in the chicken coop. My egg is gone, cried one chicken. So is mine, shouted another. The chickens looked in every nest. 4 eggs were missing. The next day 3 eggs were missing. The day after that 4 more were gone. Someone's stealing our eggs, said Mrs. Cluck. Aha, thought Chuck. This is a job for Super Cluck. That night Chuck stayed up late. He waited and he watched. Soon he saw a shadow creep into the chicken coop. The shadow had big ears, a pointy nose, and a long skinny tail. Chuck Cluck had never seen anything like it. Hee hee hee, the creature laughed softly. Let me see how many eggs I can pop into my bag tonight. The egg thief, said Chuck. I will follow him and see where he takes these eggs. The other eggs may be there too, and I am Super Cluck. I will save them all. What do you think that kind of animal is? I think it's a rat. Chuck Cluck followed the creature outside. Chuck hid behind trees and bushes and rocks. He did not want the creature to see him. Home at last, cried the creature. What a dump, Chuck said to himself. Chuck hid behind an old red wagon and watched. The creature put the eggs from his bag into a tire. 10, 11, 12, 13. He counted perfect. Then the creature got out a frying pan and made a big fire. Now for the cheese, he said. The creature dragged out a hunk of smelly cheese. He started dancing around his fire. The fire is hot, and I have my cheese. A little salt and pepper, if you please. Now go the eggs, all 13. I'll cook the best omelet in the world has ever seen. Chuck ran out to the tire. Super Chuck will put a stop to this, he shouted to the eggs. Super who? Asked the creature. Chuck Cluck scooped up the eggs and got ready for takeoff. Watch out behind you, the creature shouted. Chuck Cluck turned around. Wonder what it is. Thunk, the creature whacked him with a frying pan. That is the oldest trick in the book, and you fell for it, the creature said with a laugh. Chuck Cluck did not even feel it, but all the eggs fell and cracked. Uh-oh. Chuck Cluck hid his face. Oh no, he cried, I broke all the eggs. Some super Cluck I am. My omelet is ruined, shouted the creature. Suddenly, Chuck heard a noise. Peep, peep, peep. A little head popped out of an egg. Peep, peep, peep. Out popped 3 more chicks. Soon there were 13 little yellow balls of fuzz. Chuck Cluck grabbed a basket. Hop in here, he told the little chicks. There is not a moment to lose. The 13 chicks hopped inside the basket and Chuck Cluck took off. The creature shook his fist. You got away this time, he shouted, but you have not seen the last of me. Soon Chuck Cluck and the chicks were home. Mrs. Cluck hugged Chuck. He told her about the creature. That was a rat, Mrs. Cluck told him, and I bet we have not seen the last of him. That is just what he said, Ma, Chuck said, but for now, everyone is safe. All the chicks cheered and carried Chuck around the chicken coop. No one called Chuck a dumb cluck anymore. Now they shouted, Hooray for Super Cluck! So for day 10, this is what our chicks might start to be looking like inside the egg. So it's starting to look like a little chick. See you tomorrow.